Hello there, fellow humans, and welcome to the full Reforged update overview. Obviously, this is a test server, so things are subject to change, and a lot of things might not be in the final versions. There's going to be a couple tests. It's going to take a very long time, so don't worry about that. Some changes will still be made. Now, the first thing is, obviously, you will still keep your storage and all your camos and stuff as of this build right here. However, the stats that you play on the test server will not have an effect on your real account. For example, this is simply just going to be the test server for now, so only once the update comes out it's going to actually have an effect. However, as you can see here, your stats are still in-game, so they don't go anywhere. Then there's a couple of settings, we're going to go into those later, but first let's have a look at the garage and everything that is in here real quick, and then talk a little bit more about the details of all of those things later. So first, we got the commander screen here. Yeah, they're commanders, they all have 2 abilities, and here you can upgrade them. Basically, what the upgrades do is they upgrade the abilities right here, and you can get some extra rewards at the end of the levels if you upgrade them all the way to level 20. That is the maximum effectiveness that they're going to be at. Obviously, Mr. Golf Swing here, basically they all have different abilities. They are for different types of tanks. That's all the ones that are available right now. They look very cartoony and annoying, but generally the crew system is now easier, be it looks like that, and we'll see if they're going to stay free. Now, my biggest problem is, look at this. What the hell is this? So the intention was to make it easier, but normally if you're in regular Blitz, you are in the garage, you click one button and boom, there's your tanks and the tech trend, and on the side all you have to do is click on the nations. But this is how it looks like. Now we have popular. We have a section of sets that is popular, which is like, what? Look at the best damage, similar to Panthers of the Void. Like, what the? Obviously, these are for keys. These are the collectors right here. Now, obviously, I already have all the tanks, so I can't really go into are they unlocked in series. But look at this. Look at how many there are. So if anyone tells you that this is a simpler system than tech trees, then I don't know what they're taking. But no, this is far worse, far more complex than regular tech trees, and I am entirely against it. So then we got the regular missions here, the personal missions. You know, all those kind of things, clan missions. I mean, there was no clans on the test server, but don't worry, that's going to get added later. So it's just for the test server. In the real update, obviously, the clans are going to be as usual, so nothing's going to change there. Obviously, that is going to be as the same. And look, this screen out here, it looks fine. The UI is very close to what it is now, and just transferring it like this would have been everything that would have been necessary. I mean, moving the bar up here, okay, whatever. Here's the news, it still looks the same. The shop looks different as well. Instead of scrolling down, you're now scrolling over. But yeah, there's no, like, you got the riders up here. You can buy the keys here. You can also get them for free in some events. Well, that's going to get revealed in the future. Here, a premium account is available for gold again, so that's nice. Blitz doesn't have that anymore. So in the Reforged, it looks like you can get it for gold again, but obviously don't buy anything in the update shop. That's going to get taken away again. This is how the shop basically is going to look like in the new Reforged update. Currently, you can still have your credits here. They're called silver now. I'm going to call them credits because they're credits. And the 16k gold, for example, you're going to still keep all of your gold and all of that. So here in the battle mode, obviously you have more special events. Commander Extent event, you can get Ducky here. This is the currency that you are going to get for your crew XP. These are head tokens. I don't know what they're called. So that's what you're going to get. Then, battle modes. We have ranked, random, training rooms. That is the ones right now. Obviously, on the test server, there's not going to be any fun modes, probably. But ranked is the new regular mode. I can already say for myself, I'm not going to be playing that. I will still be playing random. But on the test server and going forward, ranked is going to be reworked and also going to be the default mode. So you can also, here's your server select right here. That you can go on to, so you can play on whatever server you want, and which makes other server accounts now redundant and useless, so no compensation for that. Then, what do we have here? Obviously, style is important. You click on here, and then you have a camo, and you have Mr. Commander here, right there. Then, instead of having your ammo, consumables, and equipment nicely laid out in the garage, you will have them hidden behind another menu right here, where you've got your statistics. And then we got your consumables ammo, which now has unlimited standard NHE ammo, and the premium shells are limited still. So that's that. We have another style button because we need it twice. And then we have the equipment right here, and more on that later because I do really need to talk about the equipment as it currently stands. So that is how it looks. Basically, it is a significant downgrade in the UI because you now have to click through a multitude of more menus to get to where you want to be, and previously you could do that a lot easier. So that is a very big downgrade. We also have that big downgrade here, where we have another extra menu to go into the nations, which, I mean, you could just make the nations, put them right here, instead of having it in this extra menu. That makes no sense, but obviously that is, again, subject to change. Let's hope it does. So we got the menu here. You can filter it a couple of times. I'd recommend filtering it by tiers. Filtering by sets makes no sense whatsoever. You'll just have all of them, like, randomly lined up here with no nation, no point. They're just going to be in here randomly, basically. Like, sure, here's two German tanks, a British tank, then a Soviet tank, then another German tank. So, yeah, that makes no sense. So, sort by tiers. Even in the tier section, they're not sorted by nation by default, which would be nice to have, but you can't have nice things, I guess. So, there's that. So, obviously, filter, like here, you can filter the tiers. And then you also have the other tier, like the vintage tier, and then this is the new tier 1, which is the old tier 4, as you can see right here. So, like the Matilda, that's a new tier 1 now, because obviously the lower tiers have been moved to the major tier. So, that's the new filter. Again, overly complicated compared to what it is now, and making it worse. And now I'm stuck in this filter, so I'm going to have to go up here, select the medium, select the medium. Right, then we also have this division reward right here, where you can claim a reward. I can get some soda cans, which I think are the replacement for whatever the style, like, this is these soda cans. No, wait, those are paint cans. I don't know what the soda cans are for. It's, again, the problem of there being too many currencies has not been fixed. But now let's have a look at the stats. Now, into the settings, obviously set it to whatever your device can handle. If you are really struggling, then obviously set it to low, and then decrease the render resolution, for example, 50%. If you're on a 1080p device, it is going to render half of that. So you're going to have a better performance. Obviously, it's going to look a lot worse, but you will be able to run if you decrease the render resolution quite a bit. Frame rate, obviously set it to the maximum that you can to get the smoothest experience. And if you are struggling with a bad device, turn off HD textures right here. UI scale, set it to whatever you want. And yeah, if you're depending on how good your eyes are. Then in the game settings, armor highlighting, set that to classic. The new default mode inverses what is the regular mode. Like basically the red part is what you have to shoot at, and the gray part is what you can't pen. That is the new default. I highly recommend setting it to classic. It's the mode that has been the way all it is. So we got the combine as well, where basically it paints what you can shoot in green and what you can't shoot in red. That also works, but I think the new default mode is very counterintuitive because it eventually inverses what is normal. So I highly recommend using classic, and I do hope Wargaming removes the default feature and just has classic. So movement arrow, you don't really need that unless you don't know where you're driving. Tank skin doesn't really matter. If you are struggling with performance, you might be able to turn this off, but it doesn't really matter. Grass and aiming mode, turn that to hide. You do not want grass. Minimap size to maximum, and then color prime mode is just off. Unless you're colorblind, then you gotta turn it on. Then rangefinder, all these, I would highly recommend turning the reverse zoom off. It is very distracting, and I don't recommend it. So that is that. Then in the sound, I don't think the music adds much, so turn off the music. Unless you really like the music, then keep it on. I personally turn it off. And in the main volume, I put it down to about 20%. So just to have a fine sound now. The mouse sensitivity and the mouse sensitivity aiming mode is different than in regular Blitz. 3520, that's what I use. However, this is too sensitive. So basically, you have to turn it lower to get the same feeling and the same amount that you have in Blitz. I hope Wargaming eventually syncs this up and has the same. So that's that. Automatic zoom, turn that off. You want the aiming mode manual if you're on PC. If you're on the phone, then maybe the aiming mode, the automatic zoom is going to help you. But if you're on PC, turn the aiming mode to manual. It's much better. You can zoom in on your own. And then the others is currently empty because it is a test build, so don't worry about that. And we obviously also have to have a look at all the new articles. Now, Ultra Test Guide, there's not much in here. If you find a bug, then obviously report it to Wargaming, because the entire point of the test server is to get more bugs fixed and to get the game better, to then hopefully be released in a state that's somewhat acceptable, which is not the case right now. But obviously, if you're able to join the Ultra Test, report the bugs that you find, because those are very helpful, and you're also gonna get some rewards down here as well for participating in the Ultra Test. But obviously remember that all the battles you play on the test, they won't matter going forward. All that's going to get deleted. now let's talk about the commanders, because, I mean, the article length already tells you that Wargaming tried to simplify it, but didn't really work that well. So I don't care for the visualizations of them. I'm gonna ignore that. Like, I don't want Maui driving. Is that Roman Reigns? I don't know. It's like a Maui Roman Reigns hybrid right here in the middle.
Acknowledge me.
Doesn't really make sense. Primary goal was to narrow the massive skill gap between experienced and newer players. Obviously, make it easier for new players to get into the game, make it more casual friendly in that regard. Also decrease the match quality of every game played, because the more casuals you have, the worse the matchmaking quality is going to be, of course. But that's a secondary thing that's going to happen. But yeah, now you will no longer have as much of an advantage over newer players. But obviously, if you max level your commander, you're still going to have quite a decent advantage over newer players anyway, and you will eventually be able to get unique commanders, whatever that means in the future. We'll see if they're going to be pay to win or not. I don't trust anybody on that regard, so we'll see what's going to happen in the future. Remember, once upon a time, the Kennyotsu was supposed to never be released again, and once upon a time, the E75, E25 number 1, the number 1 camo, was a unique one-time thing, but they never were. So remember, whenever somebody talks about they're not pay to win, always add now to any of these sentences that are spoken. Always add a now. Then you're not going to be screwed over in the future, because it's probably going to happen. And the commanders add a personal touch to the game. Now, I personally don't want to be touched, so let's leave that as it is right now. And obviously, they work like the regular crew skills. They just sit in your tank, basically, and do your voiceover and just give you those 2 extra crew skills right here that have the specializations. For example, Duncan here, Mr. Golf Swing, Mr. loves to say the word bastard. You know, he's automatically assigned to all your tanks. If this commander system goes through as it is, I do wonder, I want to know in like 3 years, how many % of people never changed away from Duncan if this is the automatic assignment. Because I'm going to assume there's going to be very high percentage points of casual players that never change the commander away from Duncan. So making the entire change a bit pointless. But I want to know that statistic in a couple of years. So basically, all of these commanders have different levels that you can max up. You can level them up. So you'll level up Duncan naturally, play battles with him and assign to your tank, and earn commander XP. So it just works like the old system. You play a battle, you get your XP, and you get a high level right there. And you can also get commander XP right here. Visit the shop to find XP bundles. Free bundle is up for grabs once per day, so you can now get free commander XP for some reason. That doesn't make sense. Don't forget to pick them up daily. Ooh, we have incentive as well. Obviously, gaming companies love giving you incentive to log in every single day to keep you playing. That's another one that we have right here. Obviously, very... I know how this works, so it doesn't surprise me. Please note, these items in the shop are subject to change, of course, as always, and the commander progress is permanent, which is very nice. So you can also boost the levels with either these legendary books or rare books. It's just a crew book mechanic for World Tanks PC. Again, you're adding another pointless complexity to a system that's supposed to simplify it. It's like how consumables now have a different currency for whatever reason. Like, you're adding complexity to something that's supposed to simplify. So this doesn't make sense. We have the skills here. Obviously, for example, Duncan has a rapid fire triple threat. You can look at them yourself in game, and the impact is obviously going to be there, but not as big as the current system right there. And in the power progression, each skill progresses through several levels, boosting its efficiency as the commander's overall level increases. Yeah, like the regular crew system as well. And here's the other commanders. Right here, we got Olivia, heavy tanks. She adds extra XP to any heavy. Cole, the go-to for medium tanks, is 1-2 punch skill increases reload speed after immobilizing an enemy. This is going to be, for example, a great skill for an Object 140, like rapid fire mediums. That's going to be maybe a bit too much in some cases. But yeah, we got another heavy tank specialist here. It's basically equipment. He enhances armor thickness. We already have that in equipment, so we have a duplication here. We have the commander and the equipment doing the same thing. And then we got Lisa, but I don't like tank destroyers, so I don't like her either. And yeah, then if you want to reassign a commander, that is how you do it. And there's an assign button down there, and you assign it to the vehicle. And you obviously have to click this extra button to do that, where you have submenu among submenu. And now we get to the thing that really annoys me. I mean, the commanders, the tank sets, those are all visual redesigns. Those can be fixed very easily. But here is where you are getting fucked. Because we have the tank progression redesign for your inconvenience. Now you can upgrade your modules, your stuff, with credits. So free XP, boom, out the window. Yeah, obviously, you're going to get compensated for your free XP. Don't worry about that. But now tanks are upgraded only with credits, which is nice. However, the linear progression, this thing right here, is the dumbest shit I have seen in World of Tanks Blitz since spare parts. Probably is even dumber, because look at that. So what you have here, each tank follows a structured path. Modules first. Camo and enhancements, improved consumables, and equipment. So if this is indeed linear, I hope it's not. I hope you can go module, 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 because as it looks right now, you have to go engine, track, gun, camo, then you're allowed to unlock new consumables, then you're allowed to unlock the new equipment. That is then going to be free after you buy it here, so you don't have to pay extra for the equipment. But basically, you have to buy a camo to be able to get to the equipment. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. What the fuck? So again here, there's 3 camos in here, and you're not able to get equipment, like equipment's level 18. You have to buy camos, and you don't even have access to the multi-repair kit before you buy it, which means that no casual player is ever going to use a multi-kit, because nobody's ever going to switch that, because I know how casual players think and operate. So I told you before in another video, I want you to pay attention to the mechanics. This is exactly what I want you to pay attention to. I don't care too much about the commanders, but that is a lot of whole shit. Like, this is trash. So, and I'm being very drastic here because that's what it is needed here. Now, profitability, that is a great thing. I do hope that this is going to stay, because look at that. Silver rewards are increased by 80%. This screen should have been in the game for a long time. It is now in the game, so that's a great change. Very lovely there. Tank enrichment, don't care. It's never worth it ever. Silver for metals, flexible enrichment. Obviously, there's a lot more articles about that as well. And the consumables, you're getting fucked again, because there is a new currency available, which is steel. Anybody remember spare parts? Because I remember spare parts. This just feels like spare parts are all over again. So the few basic consumables, you can use those, and those are going to be equipped, which means that no casual player is ever going to change to a multi-kit, because the majority of players will never upgrade this. So this is dumb. So to buy these consumables, you need a new currency, steel. To earn it, complete daily missions and participate in events. So you don't even get this currency for playing battles, it seems. And obviously there is a separate article. I'm going to go into that in a second. Provisions are gone. Ammo is now unlimited. And the premium shells, obviously they still cost and they are limited. The equipment's still the same as before. Obviously, however, you now can only unlock 3 at once. Again, up here, you have to buy through all these tiers, and then you're able to unlock the equipment, which is then going to be unlocked permanently, basically. 3 tiers. So spare parts with extra steps. And here's the commanders, blah, blah, blah. Customization, I don't care about that. So now let's have a look at the important thing, and also the steel, which is in a separate article. The steel, which is a big article. The Blitz economy. All you need to know. Obviously, I clicked on it. It does work, so that's very nice. The big changes. The ability to sell vehicles has been removed. That's gone. And no more garage slots. Are we going to get compensated for the garage slots? I sure hope so. Make sure Wargaming knows that you want compensation for garage slots, because you paid for them. So credits have become silver. Yeah, just rename operations. Nobody likes that. Some new currency, steel keys, and paint. Paint is, as far as I know, just those weird camo shards, but different. So wanting to make the game simpler and easier for new players to understand doesn't help when you add spare parts again. So I'm just going to call steel spare parts from now on. That's what they feel like. They're not as terrible, but let's look at that. Now, silver for battle achievement, still the same. You can still get creds. Premium account, all that kind of stuff stays the exact same. If you're AFK, you get nothing. That's already present in the current version of the game. Tank profitability, there you go, enrich premium tanks. They are going to add some extra stuff. Tank enrichment, again, it's not going to be worth purchasing. It's too expensive. Doesn't make sense. Big change alert. Tank upgrades now use silver. Exactly. We already had that. And we know that it's, I guess, a good idea, but the linear progression is a load of horseshit. So that's not great. And we now have... this is the rebranded combat XP. It's now action XP, because we might as well rename everything while we're at it. So nobody knows what the hell's going on. Might as well just 11 years, everything, credits have been called credits, XP has been called XP, but nope, we gotta name everything for no fucking reason whatsoever. Then we have the data cards. Data cards essentially packs of set XP that you can use, another extra essential currency that has been added with the Commander XP. And there is the Commander's Books as well, a new feature that has been added, definitely making the game a lot simpler. And then we have Steel, the consumables currency, which is what is Wargaming thinking? Like, what's the point of it? There isn't any. Well, Steel isn't a replacement for silver. It fills a gap in the economy, providing a specialized currency for buying and refilling tank consumables and related items. This makes it totally clear how to refill consumables. No, it doesn't. Because it makes it more complicated and worse. Because now, not only do you have to essentially research the ability to use proper consumables, you also have to buy them for a random different currency instead of just using credits. What the hell? But obviously, there are several reasons behind the addition of a new currency. Firstly, it will help us increase the importance of daily missions. It will help Wargaming increase the importance of daily missions, because obviously, as you remember back, you can get Commander XP for logging in daily, and you get Steel for doing daily missions, which means all of this is aimed at you playing the game more and more and more, to force you to play the game every day again and again and again, because otherwise you're going to lose out on progression. That is the goal of this Steel right here. There is no other goal for this currency. This is an entirely useless currency. The only point of it is to get you playing the game more, essentially force you to play the game more to get access to things like the multi-kit, which is extremely useful. So this is another thing. Again, I said, look at the mechanics. You're getting fucked with the mechanics right here. And then we got the keys for unlocking sets. These probably only work for our new way of, this is the keys, another new currency, because, you know, quick stop play level customization. Yes, they were called splinters, and now you got paint cans, so pointless. Still here. There's a lot to take in, it's true, but don't panic. Well, I don't panic. I just, this is a worthless currency, only designed to force you to play the game more, and the linear progression is also terrible. And now a battle on the update server. Obviously, I'm also going to stream once the actual official Ultra Test starts, and if you didn't get a place, join my stream for that, because I'm going to be playing it. Now, I do think that the graphics look good. Now, obviously, it has this very Unreal Engine 5 look to it that the majority of games that run Unreal Engine 5 look like. They're all somewhat going to be very similar in style, and Blitz is going to look like that as well. So, nothing special there. However, I do think it looks quite good. Obviously, it is moving a little bit more into a cartoony direction. I don't really know why the team is now light blue, cyan, but I guess that's a change now. There's probably going to be an option eventually to put it back to green. Don't worry, obviously we're in the very early stages of testing right now, and there's going to be months and months of development for this. And maybe it's actually going to be good. And as you can see, on the test server, the Leopard 1 is actually a super heavy tank with 500mm of armor. No, it's not. Just kidding. That was just very lucky there. So, the gameplay is still the exact same. Obviously, right here I'm playing with very big professionals. It's not going to look like this. The actual matches are going to probably be much worse in quality once the Reforged update comes to the official servers, because here's the thing. As bad as the UI is in Garage, mostly, the battles aren't going to change whatsoever. So that is the thing we can look forward to. It is going to look better. The graphics are nicer. And one thing I can also report, I've played a couple of battles, I checked out a lot of maps, and the maps are basically the same in terms of their build. They've simply been upgraded graphically, and that is an amazing thing, because when Wolf Tank's PC upgraded their graphics, that was already many years ago now. At this point, they made the maps a lot worse in the progress, so this is very nice that the Blitz maps basically haven't been changed in terms of their gameplay, so largely looks the same. Obviously, there are some places that you can climb that you couldn't climb before, things like that, but we will see if there is going to be new ceilings put in somewhere, but generally, I think the graphics updates are really good for the game. And now, there is going to be a lot of months of wargaming having to revert all the terrible UI choices they've made and put it back to something that I think the player base is going to actually appreciate and like. Now, there are some changes that are good. However, the majority of those kind of in-garage changes are no good. So, what do you think? Put it down in the comments, and see you next one. Goodbye.